In this video, I'm going to do something a little different. I want to show you one of the games that I'm working on that's kind of in progress. It's called Asteroid Redirection. It's based on, I got the idea from the DART mission, which is where NASA sent this space probe to impact with an asteroid to try to change its course. And it actually worked. It's a pretty cool concept. So this game is called Asteroid Redirection, as I said. And this is what it looks like when I'm developing a game in the Unity game engine. I like to play a lot of games, but I also like to develop games. Right now it's mostly for fun. I haven't made a ton of money at it, but it's fun. This is going to be an Android game. It will be released on the Google Play Store at some point. So let me go through some of this stuff here. So this is what I see when I'm developing a 3D game. You've got a bunch of different things in your scene view here. These red things, so I'm going to zoom in on one of these guys. So this is a cluster of asteroids. So I use layers in my game development. So you have, I don't know if any of you have ever used Photoshop or anything like that. There's layers that you can put in, or most art programs have that. What you can do in Unity is you can make different layers interact with each other, and you can make cameras only see certain layers. So if you have a radar camera, for example, maybe you have each of your objects with a layer on it that only gets picked up by the radar camera. So you could have little red dots on your radar rather than trying to show what the asteroid looks like in a little tiny radar screen. So that's what I've done here. So these are the asteroids, and this little red sphere here is actually the radar mark, and I can turn that off and you can see the asteroid. So, okay, well, let's get to the good stuff. I'll play it here. So right now the game uses just simple arrow keys to move. And it's a little bit, it's a little sensitive, as you can see. You can kind of move around a little too fast. So I need to turn off the mobile input. Your Android phone actually does things a little bit differently in terms of physics calculations than your Windows game engine does. So here we go. Let's try this again. Oh, come on, you can do it. All right, here we go. So I usually when I develop a game, I have a Windows interface for it. So, all right, here we go. Oh, let's turn on some sound. So you're supposed to, that sound there? I got it from a model rocket launch. Kind of sounds like a phaser from Star Trek. You hear that? So look, I'm drifting with the asteroid. So my relative motion with respect to the asteroid means that I'm not moving much compared to it. But we're both moving compared to Mars, which is down there. So I'm going to go back up here, try to grab another asteroid. So it's kind of fun. Oh, I'm going too fast. Full reverse. Alright, there we go. So let's see if I can get another asteroid knocked out. Some of these sounds that I got are from fireworks. That's another place that I get sounds from. That one in particular, that explosion sound. Here, let's get a few of them. There we go. So now these asteroids are out, and I can try to move them around a little bit. Maybe I'll. Oh, this one's actually headed in the right direction. Oh wait. Oh, he's off. No, he's off. Let's see. Get him. Nope, he kind of missed. He's going towards the side. So I'm going to try to... So look at this. This is an effect you don't see much in video games. Is in space, you could be pointing the opposite way that you're actually moving, depending on how your rocket's shot at first. But I think I'm going to lose this one. So it's a little hard. I'm still working on balancing things out. I'll give you an example of what some of the programming code looks like for it. This is the player script. This game, the code's actually pretty simple. A lot of my games that have AI tend to be a little bit more complicated. You end up having to deal with AI behaviors, and that's a lot of fun to program, but it's very complicated. Your AI has to get within a certain range of you, and they have to fire, and they have to navigate around the map and avoid obstacles, and all that stuff takes quite a bit of programming. But here we see is just some very basic code for, fire a shot. If we hit an asteroid and it goes into one of the collectors, we're going to add some score points to our user interface. And then these are just some control operations. And then here's really how we navigate. Unity has a physics engine built in. So when you hit a thruster, I add force if I'm going forward and back. If you want to rotate, you're going to add torque. So those are just different, if you've ever taken a physics class, those are some forces that you can apply to your object. And whatever this code is attached to, in this case it's attached to my player. Go down, find him. Let's see. There's the code. Because it's attached to the player, then when it accesses the game object, or when it just does a get component, it's actually able to access components on that player object. And then your player object here is going to have a bunch of different things. You got a box collider. Here, I'll go zoom in and see what he looks like. It's kind of hard to see. Oh, there it is. I just used a bunch of simple shapes to put it together. We've got different colliders. That's how we, in the game engine, can detect when a collision has occurred. And they act with the physics engine as well. If you don't want to write any code for it, it'll just, anything impacts that collider, and it'll have a physics effect on your object if you have this thing called a rigid body attached to it. And this is kind of the core component of the physics part of Unity. So anyway, and then we've got a bunch of other administrative stuff here. Let's see here, project settings. There's a lot here. One of the things that I had to do was doing some manipulation with physics, determining which objects are allowed to touch each other, because you want your asteroids to be destroyed when they leave the map, but you want the player to hit a boundary, but you don't want the asteroids to hit that boundary. So they have different layers that they sit on, and I can control which layers are allowed to interact with each other. I don't want to get too technical here. This is really just for anyone to look at. If you ever wanted to get into game development, it is really fun to do. Bit of a saturated industry these days. A lot of games are out there on mobile and Android and iOS and Steam, and there's new games coming out probably every day. But if you have a really cool, fun idea and you want to put it together, it takes a little bit of time to learn how to do this stuff, but it's a lot of fun. And we can even go and check out some of the menus. Again, this is more the boring stuff. I don't really particularly enjoy doing menus, but you got to have menus in your game. This is the main menu object, and so I can run this, and we've got different things here. We can go to the asteroid belt or the redirection kind of main level. I've got some text over here that tells me what version it is, when the last time I worked on it was, and your typical buttons. So redirection, go there, and this is redirection. This is a different level in the game. Here you're around Earth, and you need to try to move the asteroids to the side of the screen. So here we go. I'm going to try to meet up with an asteroid. Here we go. Ooh, coming in fast. Oh, ouch. Health doesn't work yet. That's another thing I need to turn on and work on. It's pretty easy. So look, we're both moving together, but we're moving with respect to the Earth. I love that relative motion idea. So there's that. That's fun. Uh-oh. And so that's that. That's the game.